Hey again, this is Warren here from Visions Adventures. Now I want to talk about prompting 101, the basics of prompting. Sometimes it helps to just understand how to make a prompt from scratch. And even though we gave you our prompt perfect tool, which will help you come up with any prompt for anything you want, it's still useful to understand prompting because we're entering a new era of human and technology experience. Essentially, every single facet of the world will eventually be influenced by AI in a way that changes the entire human experience. Essentially, it's not going to be even recognizable anymore based on what we're used to from years ago. So, more than ever, it's going to be critical that you learn how to prompt. So, if you don't do this, by the way, you will essentially become in your business irrelevant. There will be an ocean, a massive universe of new businesses that are riding the wave of AI that will outperform, in terms of marketing, sales, in terms of ads that actually convert, even just having effective lead magnets, copy, anything you can imagine is going to be touched by AI, especially in the business world. So, like I said, it's critical to learn these skills. There's four things you need to do in any given prompt. I'll show you inside of ChatGPT here again as I actually do the thing I'm talking about. Okay, so again, using ChatGPT 4 here, you can use 3.5. The premises that I'm about to teach are the same regardless of which AI tool platform, except for things like Midjourney that are image specific, because those have a different prompting style. But if you're using things like ChatGPT, Bard, Claude, AI, et cetera, these conversational style GPTs, these things work all similarly in terms of how to prompt. So the first thing you always need to do is you need to first tell it who it's going to behave, not tell it to be a machine, but like who of a person it could be. Let's go ahead and do it like this. I want you to be, actually, you can even start off more simple than that. You are a world class coach and sales trainer. I want you to teach me the basics of how to have a sales conversation, including my script to use, how to handle objections, and tips on how I can start to practice my sales process. So we first started with the who, and then we started with the what. The what is just what you're trying to create. What's your idea? Thirdly, we now need to talk about how you want it to do this. I want you to create a mini course for me that is 1 to 3 pages long using titled sections and bulleted lists. So now I've given it some of sort of the how I want this thing to be created. Now I could get really detailed here, but for this demo, we'll just keep things very simple. Finally, this one can be a little confusing, so you can kind of skip it. It's optional. But if you're creating something that you want to be fun to read, fun to interact with, it's sometimes useful to also tell it the style of how you want to do the thing. So this could be, just the writing style and tone. One of my mentors, Eben Pagan, great guy, great marketer. He's someone I love to really use in these examples. So I could say something like, do this in the writing style and tone of Eben Pagan or Oprah Winfrey or William Shakespeare. So notice too, sometimes I didn't spell things right, or I didn't hyphenate, I didn't use capitalization. You don't have to worry about that stuff. Now, granted, if you want to practice not being lazy, then I invite you to make sure those things are correct. But the GPTs are smart enough to figure that out, and it's not a problem. So if you make a mistake, don't get too worried about it unless it's something that makes it very difficult to decipher. Now, once I do this, I'll hit enter on my keyboard, and boom, it's creating our little mini course to train ourselves in the style of William Shakespeare of how to make a sales call or sales process. And now if I just let this go, it's going to create this whole thing. Now, it's saying things like Act One, because we said in the writing style and tone of William Shakespeare. So it's going to be a little silly, but you can see already it's giving us some of the basics of how to do this. Now, at any point, I could also just hit stop generating. It's that little stop sign to the right here, at least for ChatGPT. And I can go back up here and click this little pen icon, and I can change it to something that maybe I don't want something silly like William Shakespeare. Maybe I want something like Joe Polish, who's again another world-renowned marketer and salesperson. Now, whenever you're creating things, sometimes you might create something that's incredibly long. And you might notice that the GPT, especially ChatGPT, stops creating what you want. If it starts doing that, all you have to do is say, continue. That's it. And it will continue creating the thing that maybe it stopped doing. Now, if any of this seems too complex, go ahead and use our prompt perfect prompt. That will actually do everything I just said for you and do it in great detail. So you'll always have high quality prompts. But at least now you're armed with the basic knowledge of how to prompt so you can secure the future of yourself and your business. Have a great one, everybody. Good luck out there.